Welcome, and we're playing Italy, and we did the political tab in the last video, so this one we're going to do the decisions tab. Now the decisions tab, there's a lot of useful things in here. It allows you to deal with things like the naval treaties. If you want, you can abandon it and spend 25 political points to exit out. Do note that that does allow France or England to declare war on you if they want. You can cheat on the treaties, which allows you to have slightly higher levels of spending on your carriers, cruisers, and your heavy ships. And you have 119 days to respond. So if you want to opt out and abandon it, you can get out of it at this point by spending the amount. Propaganda. This allows you to increase your war support level. So at 55%, maybe you need it to get to 60% so you can increase your conscription level or your mobilization level. You can go ahead and do a war propaganda against Ethiopia, and it only costs you 50. It gives you 1% increase for 90 days. So every week your war support will jump 1 point for 3 months. And this is one specific against Ethiopia and costs a third the amount, but there is one here that you can just take as long as you have 50% war support, you're not in an offensive war, and there's more than 50% world tension, which there's not. So this one's not accessible yet. These are the war measures. You can hide them if you want. So you can hide them away if you don't want to see them. You can turn off the notifications for them by clicking the little button. If you don't want to get this little notification that pops up and tells you, hey, there's a decision that's available to you, you can actually go in and go, no, I don't want these. No, I don't want these. No, I don't want these. Nope, don't want to hear those. Nope, don't want to hear about that. Nope, don't want to hear about that. Well, maybe we'll leave that one on. Now, these allow you to do different things. So emergency factor conversion, when you select it, it brings down your base war support by 5%. It brings your stability down by 3%, and it costs you 100 political points. But you lose 5 civilian factories, and you gain 5 military factories in those specified locations. So if you suddenly needed to convert over and you wanted to ramp up your military really fast, you could use emergency factory conversion to get that to happen. Now, the downside, like I say, is your stability and war support will drop. So that could be bad. Women in the workforce, it allows you to get more population that you can draw from, but it does bring down your stability a little bit because there is some unrest. We weren't quite as egalitarian in the 40s as we are today. War bonds, this one allows us to decrease our consumer good factory percentage by 5%. That basically allows us to have more free factories available for building. So that's a good one. Cost you 50 political. If you can take it, you'll usually want to do that. Improve worker conditions. There's a bunch here that are all sort of trade-offs. So improve worker conditions, it allows you to increase your stability. So if your stability, like here at 46%, is kind of low and you want to bring it up, this would be one way you could do it. You could say, hey people, we're gonna look out for your workers' compensation and make sure that people aren't getting injured as easily and have safety officers and things like that. The downside is that it costs extra consumer goods, so there is an effect in the reduction in the amount of civilian factories that we'll have available to us. And during those 180 days that we're going up every week, half a point every week. So basically for 6 months, you're going to go up half a point every week. So you're going to go up 12 percentage points in total. So it'll take us from 46 up to 58 by doing this. Now, on the flip side, we lose 10% of our factory output during that 6 months as well. So there's that, and we do lose the 100 political points that it costs to take it. So this is kind of a useful one. I like to take it if I need some stability, and stability is one of those things that has a lot of spin-offs. If you've got a positive one, you can get some extra benefits from it as well. Promises of peace. this is one if you need to increase your stability as well. You can do this. It drops in exchange for your weekly war support. So your war support will drop 1% per week, and your stability will go up 0.5% per week. And you're losing some political points every day, like half a political point for the 3 months that you're doing it. So I mean, it is kind of costly. It's not my favorite one, but sometimes it's useful. Anti-democratic raids. Sometimes you want to bring down other ideologies in your country for whatever reason. You know, having more fascists in government increases the effect on your stability. So maybe we want to get rid of some of those Democrats so that we can have more communists, or less communists and more fascists in government. And you could do this and spend the 50 points, and in turn it will temporarily drop you 10 points of stability, but for 4 months it goes up 0.7 each month or each week. So basically it goes up 2.8 percentage points each week or each month. And so for those 4 months you actually end up going up about 1% overall, but you bring your daily democracy support down as well. So, and if democracy is dropping, then it's got to go somewhere else. So it could be going to your fascist government, which is a good thing. The same thing with anti-communist raids, exactly the same. If you're trying to bring up your stability, doing both of these is an easy one. You can outright ban parties. You know, there's too many democratic people to ban them completely, but communism at its 2%, you can actually ban it. This one, you know, you're going to have a change in popularity of communism by dropping 2%, but you lose 1.3% stability. And while it's active, it's going to reduce the communism, which is therefore going to sort of have a net effect of increasing other ideologies, including your fascism. So that's a good thing. Institute press censorship. This basically increases yours at the expense of the other 3 ideologies. So that's a nice one as well. You know, if you just want to bring up fascism at the expense of the other 3, you can do that. Economic policy. These are 2 ones that everyone gets at the beginning. You can commandeer civilian trains. So if for some reason you suddenly have a dire need for trains, you can turn this on and it will add 15 units of train to your stockpile. And it will also drop your stability 5%. It's only temporary though. After 180 days, those 15 units of train go back. So it can get you through a tough period, but that's about it. Industrial land appropriation, I never use this. It's not really worthwhile. It gives you a free building slot in one territory at the expense of losing 2.5% of your war support and stability, which is a pretty costly one, so I never ever take that one. Some countries like Italy have special ones. Realize Roman ambitions. If you manage to control all of these territories, so all of Italy, all of Holland, Brabant, Luxembourg, Tyrol, Alfred, Banat, Crisana, all of these places, and you control all of the Greek, all the Bulgarian, all the Turkish, all the Iraqi, all your Spanish states in Europe and Spanish Africa, all French states in Europe, North Africa, and Middle East, and all British states in Egypt, the Middle East, and the Eastern Mediterranean. If you can somehow manage to pull all of that off, you can become, Italy can change to the Imperium Romanum, and you get like basically Mussolini becomes Caesar. And all of those places that you've got captured become cores, and essentially they're considered, you know, core states of your country. They will not have resistance. They basically are treated as better than 100% compliance, and it's like you're now a superpower in the world once you flick this on. So it's kind of tricky to do, but you know, it is something that can be done. And that's basically the gist of this. You can turn off certain pop-ups if you don't want them. You can, again, as I said, hide them. You can turn off or on, or you can turn them on individually. For the notifications. And that's basically the Decisions tab. Come back for the next tab in the next video.